fast lane with Globe's 5G technology. It's fast, it's fun, it's wonderful. It's Kim Son-ho approved. With Globe 5G technology, the possibilities are endless. It's about time we inspire the youth to create something meaningful, spark reinventions, and improve the framework of the future. That's what the 5G Hackathon is about. Students, professionals, and startups are welcome to join the event by registering using this link. Once accepted, you may enjoy access to the Globe 5G Hackathon HQ, where the enablement workshops will happen. That's 2 weeks worth of fun workshops and mentorship by industry experts from our tech partners. All these to get you to the top. That doesn't end there. Apply what you've learned from the workshops and pitch your idea on how you can use 5G to improve the way we live. The panel will pick the top 30 semi-finalists to join the pitch competition and enjoy exclusive workshops and consultations with mentors. But if you're truly, madly, deeply at the top of your game, you can be chosen as part of the top 10 finalists who will proceed to the Hackathon Finals. 3 of the best pitches will be hailed as winners. What's in it for you? Well, over 500,000 pesos worth of prizes will be given away, plus a chance to be part of the Venture Builders program of 917's Venture Velocity and work directly with Globe 5G Acceleration Lab. This is powered by Globe and Animal Labs by DLSU. Thanks to 5G, we're about to achieve great heights. Click the link and show us what you've got. Get ready to reinvent your power to create change. Register now.
Do you want to make a difference and reinvent your world? 네, 안녕하세요. 여러분, 김선호입니다. 샌드박스 같은 곳에서 경쟁하는 기분을 느껴보고 싶으신가요? 그렇다면 글로브 5G 해카톤에서 진행하는 워크숍과 멘토십을 통해 5G 활용 방법을 만들어보고 여러분의 친구, 동료들과 팀을 만들어서 디지털 시대 속 필리핀의 새롭고 흥미로운 가능성을 열어보세요. Follow your dream. Register now.
You watch me do my thing. Reinvent and show the world, yeah. She's to be more, she's to be better, she's to evolve, she's to evolve, she's to be more, she's to be better, she's to evolve, she's to evolve. Every time the world spins round, reinvent 360. Thinking you gon' miss a good thing, yeah. Show the whole world. Reinvent, nobody should know something. It's strong, be a good time. You watch me do my thing.
Take it to the next level with Globe's fiber, LTE advanced, and 5G mobile connection. Now you have the power to reinvent your world. Globe.
The new mind-blowing Surfer 99?
9 gig? All sites?
For all devices?
Shareable with up to 4 people?
Like my fam? Anywhere they are?
The new mind-blowing Surfer All 99.
Dear Mother, light of the home.
Dad?
Hey, baby!
Greetings, Professor Rodolfo.
May I be absolved from
Math Club tomorrow.
May Globe Virtual Hangouts kasi.
Go and hang out from wherever you are. Just open the Globe One app, choose an event, and click join.
Watch concerts online!
Woo! Dance together!
We can do quiz nights.
Yo, let's go! If
If you allow me,
I promise.
To make it up to you.
and repay your kindness tenfold. Truly, your favorite child.
I love you, Dad.
Mimi, please, babe.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy your fave events with Globe Prepaid Virtual Hangouts. All together now.
Yes.
Hello and welcome. I'm thrilled to speak with you today about Microsoft's approach to innovation and dive into some exciting breakthroughs that we've been working on in the world of AI. Innovation hinges on the ability to see the world differently and look in unexpected places. The very nature of innovation is that every time we reach a new frontier, we realize that we can do even more. That's why innovation is a journey, not a distinct destination. And it's so important to share this journey with our partners and our customers so they can come along with us and gain a deeper understanding of what's to come and the opportunities that it creates to transform and reimagine their businesses in ways that may seem inconceivable today. Innovation matters to your customers. It's important as trusted advisors that you inspire your customers with how we're envisioning the future, because knowing where we're going impacts their decisions of today. 59% of decision makers view thought leadership as a core driver when assessing a company's capabilities, and this clearly shows up in their decision-making process. Close to half of a customer's willingness to purchase is driven by thought leadership, and 12% is based on product capabilities. Because technological advancements and breakthroughs are foundational to our differentiated vision and our unique points of view on business, on industry, and the world. Our approach to innovation at Microsoft is anchored in three fundamental tenets. First, our work is focused on creating meaningful innovation for lasting impact. There are no flash-in-the-pan stunts. It's about how quickly we make our innovation available for customers to innovate on top of, because we believe the next breakthroughs are coming from companies across every industry, not just technology providers. And second, it's all about the applicability of the innovation, how it's put into action, whether it's being used to transform an entire business or tackle some of society's toughest challenges. It's about making that innovation real. During this health and economic crisis, this is more important than ever. Organizations need innovation that's anchored in real-world scenarios. And third, we believe technology must be developed responsibly in a way that earns trust. Society is speaking loud and clear, demanding innovation that improves lives and can be trusted. It's not just about what technology can do, it's also about what it should do. So now let's dive into one of our primary and most important areas of research, artificial intelligence. And I'm going to cover 4 key areas or trends that we believe will drive the future of AI and have significant impact on business. To get deeper in each of these trends, we've developed a super cool companion application for this session that gives you the opportunity to actually experience some of the projects and innovation we're working on in each of the areas. You can access the companion app using this URL or by scanning the QR code that'll pop up periodically throughout my talk. So let's start with the first area, AI at scale. We've seen extraordinary growth in the size and complexity of AI models over the past few years. And it was just a few short years ago when we were tremendously excited by breakthroughs that enabled us to be the first to achieve human parity in areas like vision, speech, and translation. Advancements in deep learning enabled these models to have millions of parameters. With the latest advancements in algorithms and computing, we're now able to exponentially increase the size of these models, going from millions to billions of parameters. And we've developed our own family of massive scale AI models called Turing. And to help customers ultimately leverage the full power of AI at scale, we recently announced our new AI supercomputer, which we're working on to provide advanced supercomputing infrastructure and optimization tools through Azure that are needed to train these massive scale models. You can go ahead and experience one of these models for yourself using our companion app. Now, these massive models are incredibly powerful, but that's not even the most important thing about them. Traditional AI models have been great at performing one task. You design and train an AI model for image classification, and then another model to predict your sales forecast. We're now learning how these massive models can take on multitudes of tasks, even in completely different domains or modalities. Imagine being able to apply a model in domains as different as medical research and law, or mixing modalities like audio and video, and having the ability to connect words to real-world concepts. Think about the exciting combinations that you can have between these domains and modalities, and how all of this will jumpstart the development of a brand new breed of applications that are hard to imagine today. And it's a game changer in terms of how we develop AI. Companies can also reuse these massive pre-trained models and customize them for their own scenarios using their domain expertise without having to develop them from scratch or without the data, compute, and skills it requires now. We're actually doing this internally at Microsoft, where our Turing models are being used today by different teams across the company, applying their domain expertise to improve language understanding tasks across Bing or Outlook, where it's getting implemented in the suggested reply feature, or Dynamics 365 to predict customer churn. So that our customers can also leverage these advanced AI models and technologies, we're working to enable all of this within an AI platform that extracts the underlying complexities and brings state-of-the-art AI to organizations. Breakthroughs like these create real opportunity and fuels a whole new level of innovation and growth potential for the partner and ecosystem with our customers. Let me share a video where Luis Vargas, our partner technical advisor here at Microsoft, talks about this incredible revolution in more detail.
Our ability to communicate, to express ourselves through written, spoken, and visual language is a fundamental aspect of what makes us human. If we want to create an artificial intelligence capable of augmenting human ingenuity, we must start with language. Innovation hinges on our ability to see the world differently, breaking boundaries and looking in unexpected places to help solve some of the world's toughest challenges. As humans, we master language by making connections. It takes us many years to learn about the relationships between words and the importance of context. I'm a new father to a 1-year-old girl, and I see her learn little by little about language. Every night, we read her books with pictures of animals, things, and places, my wife in English and I in Spanish. Basically, we're giving her large amounts of language and image data in 2 languages. And I can see her starting to correlate concepts across the 2. The other day, she saw a puppy in the street, and when my wife asked her what it was, she said dog. When I asked her, she said perro. There is hidden complexity in seeing an object and then identifying and accessing the word or words needed to describe it, and then doing this in multiple languages. Now, imagine what it might take to understand a sentence, a whole Wikipedia article, or an entire novel. In the past, we used rule-based systems to try to mimic this understanding in machines, but there was no genuine language comprehension at all. Later, we taught these machines how to model language in a mathematical way with vectors. Still, this didn't really give our machines a rich understanding of conceptual relationships. What was missing was context. Today, our language models are learning language by essentially reading the book through an approach called self-supervised learning. It works like this. We give our model a huge amount of text, and as it processes the text, we ask it to predict words based on the surrounding context. As the model does this hundreds of millions to billions of times, it starts to build an understanding of the underlying language concept and grammar. We think of the development of AI similar to how we think of the development of the human brain. Synapses between neurons build cognitive capabilities in humans, and in AI, these neural connections are called parameters. A year ago, the largest AI models had around 1 billion parameters. Our latest model, called Turing, has 17 billion. We anticipate that the trend will continue into the hundreds of billions of parameters and then trillions. The only way to train a model with billions or even trillions of parameters is with large-scale infrastructure composed of clusters of hundreds to thousands of machines with specialized hardware, all interconnected by high-bandwidth networks. The Azure cloud provides us with such clusters. We then need to distribute the training of the model across all of these machines. Over the past year, we have developed optimization techniques that reduce the resources that we need and still train models faster on the same infrastructure. We have recently open-sourced these techniques to enable everyone to train large AI models much more efficiently. General language is sometimes not enough to support the tasks needed. Let's say you give a human a foundational education, where they gain a general understanding of the world. This is similar to how we develop our AI models. We start with a high school level model, which has learned from all the data available on the internet. We send this baseline model to build on its abilities in specific domains. For example, the productivity domain for Office, the business domain for Dynamics, or the professional domain for LinkedIn. As our language model learns from domain data, it does so within the context of each organization in a privacy-compliant manner. An emerging generation of even larger models is now learning from this data and functioning in a more generalized way, combining language, images, video, and speech. Even with these amazing recent achievements, the reality is AI is still in its infancy. For example, we're still far from AI that can use common sense reasoning to draw conclusions. In the search for greater intelligence, civilizations and humanity thrive. Every time we reach a new AI frontier, we realize we can do better. As research advances and we magnify human intelligence with artificial intelligence, we may gain a clearer and deeper understanding of ourselves and of one another.
The AI supercomputer is a great example of breakthrough innovation in the cloud, and we're also seeing AI get more powerful on the edge. This power is enabling a new revolution in the core operations of our customers, moving from static, automated operations with fixed rules to truly dynamic, autonomous systems that have the ability to perceive their environment and react to it in real time. Autonomous systems is an area that has taken on an even higher sense of urgency in the context of COVID. We're seeing customers looking to innovate faster, wanting to quickly enable contactless scenarios, like the autonomous navigation of sanitizing robots, or self-calibrating machines to avoid delays in operations, or autonomously controlling the safety of food processing. And this new revolution means engineers, the mechanical, industrial, and chemical engineers who create these physical systems, they now need to have AI added to their toolkit to help them design these autonomous systems. And our goal is to empower these engineers for this AI transformation. We're pioneering technologies like machine teaching to give them the ability to train physical systems using their domain expertise. And we're putting AI in the engineer's toolkit in a way that makes technologies like reinforcement learning accessible to them without having to learn data science or have a data science background. You can also experience a fun use case of machine teaching in our companion app. So some of this may sound a little out there, but the reality is we have customers already embracing this revolution today and using it to innovate and solve real-world business problems. SCG's engineers were using traditional methods to operationalize their manufacturing process, which typically took months. Through our preview program, we gave them access to these technological advancements, which enabled them to autonomously discover the optimal settings, reducing time spent on the process from months to a week. Clearly, the impact of achieving 10 to 20 times improvement through AI-powered autonomous systems is transformational. And because these autonomous systems are interacting and learning from people with domain expertise, developers and engineers can more easily and programmatically design transparency and safety into their solutions, like this drone that you see flying behind me that's autonomously navigating around obstacles. We now have a few dozen customers engaged in our preview program, learning and working to solve problems across these real-world scenarios, like chemical processing, logistics, and manufacturing. At Build, we recently opened up access to our preview service called Project Bonsai, and I invite you to explore whether we can also help your customers accelerate their innovation. And we believe the full potential of AI can only be realized when it's put in everyone's hands, making it accessible and approachable to all roles in an organization, not just the technical functions, so that all employees have the ability to both consume and create AI. This is about empowering all employees to augment their unique skills and expertise, which is vital for every organization. So far, much of the emphasis around AI has been to free us up from repetitive tasks. The next exciting frontier of AI is about helping us augment our powerful reasoning capabilities. This is especially relevant for knowledge workers, people with deep domain expertise or business knowledge, whether it's in product design, construction, or marketing. Taking the health domain as an example, medical professionals spend years learning. There's medical school, followed by ongoing learning and training to ensure they stay current in their domain. Research shows that in the time of the 1950s, medical knowledge doubled over the course of 50 years. By 2010, medical knowledge doubled every 3.5 years, making it that much more challenging to maintain deep domain expertise. And now, it's projected that today's medical knowledge will double every 73 days, which is just fantastical until you realize that over the past few months, over 50,000 medical papers have been published on COVID-19 alone. How can any researcher read all that information, much less retain it? Subject matter and domain experts will need to increase their ability to reason over vast amounts of expanding knowledge beyond what's considered possible today. And this is right in the sweet spot of where AI can help. It may feel like science fiction, but we're already working with several customers on this vision to push the boundaries across many subject domains, from science to engineering, manufacturing, and health. And I'm particularly excited about the partnership between Microsoft Research and Novartis in the pharmaceutical space. Novartis is now using AI to expand domain knowledge across different departments in their company, encompassing 50,000 of their employees, from research to manufacturing and distribution. Novartis researchers are using AI to augment their expertise and domain knowledge to help accelerate discoveries that have the potential to become life-saving medicines. Let me show you a video of this exciting story.
Every person contributes something unique in their job. In a pharmaceutical company like Novartis, the important aspect is finding more targets, more molecules that could eventually become a life-saving medicine. We generate data at every point of our value chain. In our alliance with Microsoft, we are innovating at the intersection of AI and life sciences, building the elemental blocks of AI such that every associate can put them together in exciting new ways. This will allow them to reason, innovate, and ultimately augment their expertise and creativity.
As a researcher, our core work is to develop new drugs. But the amount of information in the world of medicine is constantly growing. Using AI, we've been able to bring together critical information across data sources. By using our scientific knowledge and reasoning on top of AI models, we can accelerate our discovery.
We can navigate each other's data, make all this accessible, exchangeable, so that the next colleague can add his piece of work. We will be able to make connections which impacts the patients, but also us as researchers.
Every field, every industry is becoming a data-dependent, data-driven field. AI has a fundamental capability as a complement to the human expertise. If we infuse it at every single step of the workflow, we can empower our people and bring the magic of AI in a meaningful way.
Now, bringing these three trends together, you can envision the huge transformation that's coming. These trends will bring AI to every facet of the business and every employee in the organization. It's really a seismic level transformation. Just as advances in technology transformed every company into a software company, innovations in AI will transform every company into an AI-powered company. Of course, transformations of this magnitude come with associated risks and challenges, and this especially holds true with AI. There are challenges that enterprises need to address quite seriously. Responsible AI starts with principles that reflect your intentions, your values, and goals. In 2016, we established 6 principles, such as fairness, privacy, transparency, and others, that guide everyone at Microsoft creating, using, and applying AI. And to make these principles real, we had to rethink how we developed software. And we created new practices that redefined each step in the development cycle. And we've shared these learnings in our Responsible AI Resource Center with assets like the AI Fairness Checklist, Human AI Interaction Guidelines, Inclusive Design Guidelines, and many others. And beyond this, responsible AI itself is an area of important innovation. We're pioneering tools and technologies to help customers develop AI responsibly. To support the principle of transparency, our work on explainable AI will open the black box of AI models to make decisions more transparent to everyone, or our innovation on tools like FairLearn to help identify and fix bias in algorithms. In the space of privacy and security, you don't need to sacrifice privacy to access the benefits of AI. Microsoft Research is leading the way in advanced techniques like homomorphic encryption and differential privacy, where we can realize the benefits of AI trained on shared data while keeping your personal data private. You can learn more about differential privacy in the companion app. Only by developing AI responsibly can it earn the trust of society. By building on a strong foundation of responsible AI, our focus is to empower people around the world to positively transform society through AI. And societal change requires an even greater scale of innovative ideas, technologies, and partnership. 6 months ago, we launched our AI for Health program, providing resources and grants for people innovating on AI applications for health. We launched this program right before the COVID crisis, and how little we knew at that time just how relevant this program would be. And the response has been incredible, with over 127 grantees from 13 countries. We're so excited to see the incredible innovations coming from these grantees, from enabling researchers to further the development of diagnoses, vaccines, and treatments, to optimizing for the allocation of scarce resources. I'm deeply inspired by the personal story and motivation behind an important project to help reduce some of the burden on vital frontline healthcare workers and overwhelmed healthcare systems. It's the first of many stories we'll be sharing of the people behind the amazing work being done in AI as part of a new series we're launching next month called Humans and AI, where we'll celebrate the heroes using AI to make the world a better place. Please roll the video.
My biggest aspiration is to create technology that helps humanity. I've been passionate about technology and medicine since the age of 12. When my twins were born, within 1 month my mother died. It was a very soul-searching time for me. I realized that I should have become a doctor. But in Israel, you can't get into the medicine school after a certain age, so it was too late for me. When Microsoft got into the healthcare space, I had to be part of it. I was working in my regular job, and nights and weekends, I laid a foundation to create a team that drives health AI technology. When coronavirus hit, we saw there were many frontline healthcare organizations overwhelmed all around the world. We worked to power the COVID-19 symptom checker that could help people assess themselves and relieve the burden of the healthcare workers. Within just 3 months, we've powered more than 1,700 healthcare bot instances in 23 different countries. This really helped reduce the anxiety of patients, but also helped reduce the burden from the healthcare systems. When we learned that plasma donations from coronavirus survivors can help treat other patients, we joined the Plasma Alliance to help power a healthcare bot to screen potential plasma donors for COVID-19. There is so much more that we can do using artificial intelligence to help take healthcare forward. We feel humbled and fortunate to have this technology that can help people. I don't know if we've actually saved lives, but if we've helped even one person, I'll be happy.
I hope you've enjoyed this short jaunt on our innovation journey and that we've inspired you to learn more about our bold innovation bets. I encourage you to also have this level of conversation with your customers. As I said at the outset of this talk, as trusted advisors, it's vital that you inspire your customers, give them insight and a deeper understanding of the exciting things to come and the opportunities that it creates for them to reimagine and transform their business. For more innovation stories and deeper technical dives, please visit Microsoft.com/innovation. And from Microsoft AI, I encourage you to go out to Microsoft.com AI and check out our highly popular online AI business school, as well as the Responsible AI Resource Center that'll help you in having strategic conversations with your customers. Also, make sure to check out our on-demand session, Leveraging AI Business School to Supercharge AI Engagements, where you can get best practices and tips on how to deliver AI Business School sessions for your own customers. We're honored to have you join us on this innovation journey. Thank you.
We're speeding into the fast lane with Globe's 5G technology. It's fast, it's fun, it's wonderful. It's Kim Son-ho approved. With Globe 5G technology, the possibilities are endless. It's about time we inspire the youth to create something meaningful, spark reinventions, and improve the framework of the future. That's what the 5G Hackathon is about. Students, professionals, and startups are welcome to join the event by registering using this link. Once accepted, you may enjoy access to the Globe 5G Hackathon HQ, where the enablement workshops will happen. That's 2 weeks worth of fun workshops and mentorship by industry experts from our tech partners. All these to get you to the top. That doesn't end there. Apply what you've learned from the workshops and pitch your idea on how you can use 5G to improve the way we live. The panel will pick the top 30 semi-finalists to join the pitch competition and enjoy exclusive workshops and consultations with mentors. But if you're truly, madly, deeply at the top of your game, you can be chosen as part of the top 10 finalists who will proceed to the Hackathon Finals. 3 of the best pitches will be hailed as winners. What's in it for you? Well, over 500,000 pesos worth of prizes will be given away, plus a chance to be part of the Venture Builders program of 917's Venture Velocity and work directly with Globe 5G Acceleration Lab. This is powered by Globe and Animal Labs by DLSU. Thanks to 5G, we're about to achieve great heights. Click the link and show us what you've got. Get ready to reinvent your power to create change. Register now.
Good afternoon. I'm Abid Sedi and I am with Microsoft. I have here with me today Dr. Schultz from a brilliant startup called LifeTrack Medical. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Schultz.
Thank you, Abid. And you can call me Eric.
Okay, Eric. So I want to start off by really congratulating you as you're one of the 4 winners from the EmergeX competition, which is part of our Highway to 100 Unicorn program that we launched here in the Philippines. We're really proud that you are on a journey with us, and together with you, we look forward to realizing Microsoft's mission, which we are talking about, which is to empower every individual and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Now, we understand that you're operating in a very important domain of healthcare, and especially in these times, we know how important it is to have the right healthcare infra and systems to provide adequate, and not only adequate, but affordable facilities to people at large. So with this, I want to discuss with you a few things, which would start off with, what caused you to think about coming up with a startup, what is the background, and tell us a little bit more about what your startup does.
Yeah, no, thanks so much. And I super appreciate Microsoft's interest in healthcare and the broader purpose and mission. Similarly, what started me on the path was I was here in the Philippines with my last company. It was a big teleradiology company that I grew, back started in like 2004, 2005, ended up selling that in 2011 to a New York Stock Exchange listed company. And then I looked around and I said, what new thing could I do? And, obviously I'm a radiologist. And so, and one of the things that I had sort of pioneered was teleradiology. But as part of that, we ended up, having, a number of, healthcare professionals working with us, including, radiologists from around the world who we were basically helping train even. And it was sort of part and parcel of our software that we were able to actually upscale and build more radiologists. And so when I looked around and I saw, the following types of statistics, that 2/3 of the world, like the vast majority of the world, lacks access to basic healthcare imaging. Imaging, right? Ultrasound or even plain film. 2/3. I was just stunned when I actually read that article, and I said that there's got to be something, wrong here. And so I started looking into it, and, living in the Philippines, because I had, moved this way to take advantage of time zones, doing night call in the US, but doing it daytime here in the Philippines. I realized that it wasn't lack of money. I mean, like here we live in the Philippines, you can see that the infrastructure is, getting better every single day, and there's tons of money with year-on-year GDP growth of 7% or something. It's not the money. And so then what is it? Well, it turns out that there's a lack of radiologists, right? So which, then like if you have a scarce resource, what do? Well, first thing you do is make it more efficient, right? The existing resource. And the second thing you do is to try and help build more. And so, what our software does is it provides an efficient fast way to read cases, and deliver reports. And at the same time, we have a couple of patents. One of them actually helps train and test radiologists, but also helps them receive decision support as they're doing their diagnosis. So, we basically feel like we're sort of following a similar mission to basically bring healthcare, particularly imaging, to that 2/3 of the world that's missing right now. And the reason why we can do that is because we can both help improve the efficiency of the existing radiologists and, using the latest technology, and then, bringing help, basically helping train more radiologists and doing that in a scalable way, not just sort of a traditional, residency method. So.
Makes sense. That serves as a very strong use case based on statistics that you just shared. Now, I think it's a no-brainer when it comes to kind of seeing how this solution can help population in general. What are some of the biggest challenges that you face as a startup? Because the solution makes all the sense, but what are some of the other challenges that you're facing? Like in terms of it's a solution, training requirement, adoption, awareness of the people, and the willingness for these healthcare professionals to adopt a solution like this, kind of credibility that this solution carries versus some of the conventional solutions.
Right. No, it's a really good point. So, I mean, probably anyone who's looked into healthcare in any detail realizes pretty quickly that it's by nature pretty resistant to innovation and change. So, and I mean, it starts off with the, Hippocratic oath of like, first do no harm. Well, change could do harm. Anytime you change, there's always the potential risk, right? And so in doing anything new in healthcare, that's certainly one of the hurdles that you have to, overcome, And then second thing is, we're doing this in a market, in Southeast Asia, although we do now have, lots of customers in the US and even, EU and Africa. The other piece of it is that you have to find, good IT talent, both on the development side and infrastructure side. A lot of how we, have architected our software is to help get over those things. So like we make sure that, we call it, we do the hard work to be lazy, in the sense of like, we know that we're not going to find someone at every small provincial hospital who's going to be able to handle setting up a VPN. So we basically make a software product that we can install like literally from a download on the site, that can help send images if they go to the cloud. We can also drop ship a server right to the hospital, so there's no need for the cloud component. And then we spend a lot of time working with our support team to help them help the IT person on site. So every step of the way we've tried to analyze cost, availability of technology and talent that and so we try and cut out the roadblocks to adoption as much as possible. So there's a lot behind that question, but those are the main things I would say.
Right. Now moving on to, because as we discussed earlier, that as a tech company, we are making sure that we are playing a big role or noticeable role in this healthcare domain. But we do realize, even as a big tech giant, we still need domain knowledge, which we see startups bring into the ecosystem or into this equation. When you look at the Highway to 100 Unicorn program that we launched, what is it that you think is helping a startup like you? And then combined to this question, what are some of the expectations you would have from a program like this?
First, obviously Microsoft started as a software company, so there's enormous amount of experience that we can tap into that way. The other thing is, a lot of people don't know this, but I've worked with Microsoft in the past, and Microsoft is in every hospital. It is a major information system in every single hospital. So like one of the things that would be wonderful is to, work with Microsoft to figure out like, is there a way that we can work together to get our software in there as well, obviously. A lot of it is linking to other partners who are, already out there in, let's say, like I mentioned that hospitals in emerging markets oftentimes don't have, good on-site IT. And so one of the things that we're always looking for is a partner with an ISP who might potentially have, what they call in the US managed IT services, where the ISP helps manage the infrastructure on site. Because that's like a no-brainer, right? You have hundreds of hospitals throughout, like thousands of hospitals actually throughout Southeast Asia. Most of them lack the underlying IT infrastructure to do to actually help with software that helps, democratize healthcare. So that's, those are some of the things. Obviously, experience and, meeting other companies that are, in this space and, distributors even like, software distributors, hardware distributors. So those are all the things. I mean, obviously, gaining recognition from a company like Microsoft helps us play in the, with governments. And honestly, it's funny in one of the talks I once gave at a meeting, when there was a comment from the crowd, that basically one reason why unicorns don't come out of some countries is because the governments don't actually use the unicorns that are built in their country. So that's also an interesting thing, is to see if Microsoft can help us break down some of those barriers. Although here in the Philippines, we are starting to get government contracts. So.
Right, makes sense. And I think, as you mentioned, talking about technology, how cloud technology can really serve as a right platform for you to expand into some of the territories where you don't have physical presence or IT support that you require, let's say, conventional solutions. So that is something which cloud makes possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, when you look at 12 months from now or 24 months from now, with this pandemic keeping that into perspective, what are some of the growth opportunities that you as a startup are looking at? And how would the technology play the role for you to kind of really set you up for success in the coming months?
Yeah, no, it's actually a great question. I mean, the pandemic obviously, short term hurts, right? People aren't going to hospitals. It's an odd thing, right? COVID patients are going to the hospitals, but the census overall in places like the Philippines during the peak of the quarantines, like 30%, like that's deadly to a hospital in most environments. Like you have to have a census that is not 100%, but you don't want it to be 30%. You want it to be 60 to 80%. In the US to be profitable, it's somewhere around 80%. So COVID basically in the short term, caused issues with people just not doing as many cases, so revenue decreases. But on the positive side, if there is a positive side to something like this, I mentioned earlier that healthcare is very resistant to change, and just going digital is a big change for many, hospitals here. And yet COVID hits and all of a sudden everyone wants to work from home, right? Well, healthcare being so behind the times was kind of left out, right? How are they going to work from home? Well, the companies who were already using our software, they had no problems. They basically said, okay, log on to the, to your work list from home. That's one of the things that we do that is, the legacy systems don't do, is allow you to have the same workflow wherever you are, on site, off site, on the cloud, wherever you are, right? And so for us, the companies that were using us already, they were like, didn't miss a beat, right? And we have, recently, now that things are starting to, open up a bit, and people are starting to realize that, with vaccines that the economy will bounce back. they're starting to realize, we should really rethink our digital, our move towards digital, particularly in something like radiology, where like most of the people who are doing it don't have to be on site. So it's actually, we've had a number of people approaching us saying, hey, how soon can we, get on using LifeTrack so that we can, have our radiologists work from home.
Sure. So this, what you're doing is extremely exciting, Eric, and we are extremely happy and proud to be working with a startup like yours. We've got a long way to go with LifeTrack.
Thank you.
On the journey with Emergex and Highway 200 Unicorn. I really look forward to that strong partnership, and I hope that in this journey we are able to really come up with those solutions which are really needed by the people, and especially this movement is so important in these times. Bringing affordable and adequate healthcare is extremely important. And I think your solution is really it's really going to make a difference, right?
Yeah.
So with this, Eric, thank you very much for taking the time out.
Yeah, thank you, Abid. I super appreciate the time.
Yeah, and look forward to an exciting journey with you, Ed.
Yeah, no, thanks so much. I really appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
As a small business owner myself, I know the importance of big, important decisions. Making the right one can be the difference between success and abject failure, victory and defeat. Yes, you've made it, and no, go start over.
So when it comes to choosing your cloud platform, your choice matters. Now more than ever, startups are looking to Microsoft Azure to get their footing into the cloud for the very first time. Now, for more on that, please welcome Vice President of U.S. Partner Development at Microsoft, Mr. David Smith. Hey.
Hey, David.
Thanks, Rick and Donna. We've got some really great guests joining us right now to have a little bit of a conversation about startups with Microsoft. We've got Jeff Ma, who's the VP of Startups at Microsoft, and also Evan Reiser, who is the CEO and founder of a startup called Abnormal Security. Let's start with Jeff. Jeff, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Microsoft for Startups?
Yeah, so I came to Microsoft about 6 months ago after a sort of 20-ish year career as an entrepreneur in Silicon Valley, and came here with the goal of trying to make Azure the default platform for startups to build on. And Microsoft for Startups is a program that really helps accelerate the business growth of startups. So we're really happy to be working with startups like Abnormal Security.
Great. And of course, Abnormal Security is indeed working with Microsoft for Startups. So Evan, how about you introduce yourself as well and tell us a little bit about Abnormal and what it does?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's been a really exciting day. So my name is Evan Reiser. I'm the founder and CEO of Abnormal Security. I've been an enterprise technology entrepreneur for over a decade. Started 4 different companies, all focused on bringing enterprise solutions using AI and machine learning. So Abnormal Security is a next generation email security platform. We use AI to protect enterprises against targeted social engineering attacks like supply chain compromise or fraud or business email compromise, which is currently the #1 cybercrime in the world. So for additional context, Abnormal Abnormal Security, we're a young startup. We started about 2 years ago, but we're growing very quickly. We have over a dozen Fortune 500 companies using our product today. We protect everything from healthcare systems to nuclear power plants, and we've been recognized by Forbes and Gartner as one of the most promising AI startups and a top vendor for email security in 2020.
Well, that's awesome. And we'll drill down into all those things you just talked about, but let's just talk about startups in general and how startups relate to cloud. And Jeff, I know you've got a background as an entrepreneur yourself. So how do you think startups in general should think about their choice of cloud platform?
I think, when startups, at least how we want startups to look at picking a cloud platform, is not thinking about a platform and instead thinking about a partner, because ultimately what we believe is that much of the technology that exists on cloud platforms is pretty similar now. And where we can provide value as Microsoft and Microsoft for Startups is providing really good customer access and really good go-to-market for startups. So we really want to be a partner where we have great a partner ecosystem and great customers that we can bring to startups and, like as I mentioned, accelerate their business growth. So the decision of which cloud to build on needs to be more than just a technology decision now. It needs to become much more of a business decision.
What do you mean by that? Like, what is the difference between that technology decision and that business decision you're talking about then?
Well, ultimately, when you think about what we can do as a company, is we really want to partner with our startups and partner with our companies to help them grow. We have so many great customers, great enterprises. We can help startups sell into the enterprise. As an entrepreneur that's built companies before, I realize how hard it is for startups to sell into the enterprise. And a lot of that is because you have things like procurement, you have 12 to 18 month sales cycles. And as Microsoft, we can really help you avoid that by allowing you to publish in our marketplace, transact on Microsoft Paper. We can connect you to some of our top customers and really make it easier for you to work with enterprise, which is something that's very traditionally hard for startups to do.
Ah, gotcha. So Evan, did you have some of these same considerations yourself when you were thinking about working with Microsoft for startups and using Azure as your platform?
Absolutely. So, Jeff, you'll appreciate this. As a founder, your job is to identify the biggest existential risks for the business and then focus on knocking them down. So for us, our primary motivation is scale. And to set the stage, cybersecurity is a major concern for our customers. We have a product that's extremely effective. And despite the pandemic, we've seen about a 2x growth in the last 6 months. So the challenge for abnormal security is all about how do we scale the business? We have to scale innovation, right? To bring cutting edge AI to innovation to wow our customers. We need to scale technology to get 10x more customers and 10x more data, and we need to scale our go-to-market programs, right? Everything that Jeff just mentioned. We have to get to the the other people we don't know yet, right? We need to see 10x growth in a really short amount of time. So I think a lot of entrepreneurs just like me, they think about cloud infrastructure as purely a technology decision. However, I realized that our enterprise customers, who are also Microsoft customers, really wanted to invest more in the Microsoft ecosystem, and they want to partner with startups like us that were equally committed to building on the Microsoft platform. So we took a hard look at the different options, and when we looked at Azure, there was kind of two things that surprised us. One, we realized that the technical offering was much kind of deeper, more robust than we thought. And on top of that, there's a bunch of non-technical benefits from moving to Azure that were critical to help us scale. And even though we've been totally impressed by the technology, similar to what Jeff said, I think the major driver for us was understanding all the capabilities that Microsoft platform had to help us scale our innovation and scale our go-to-market.
Okay. So give me some more examples about how Microsoft helped you connect with your customers there and sort of bring them to Abnormal.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll kind of maybe talk about both sides of the coin there. So for context, when we first started the company, we didn't even think about using Azure. We were so familiar with the AWS platform, and even when we crossed $1 million a year in spend, we didn't really question the decision. But when we decided to team up and partner with Microsoft, there was really kind of these two sides: the technology benefits and the business benefits. So on the technology side, right, we realized that security, privacy was critically important to us. Our customers trust us to protect the world's their most sensitive data, and we need to have the world's most secure platform for them to take us seriously. Obviously, Microsoft is a leader in cybersecurity. They spend $1 billion a year in cybersecurity, and Azure has more compliance certifications than any other cloud provider. The second thing is, right, ability to scale. So Satya this morning talked about the importance of being able to process, petabyte scale data in real time. And the third part of technology is really the ability to innovate, right, using offerings like, Azure AI cognitive services to empower developers to focus less on commodity infrastructure and more on, applied machine learning problems that are important for our customers. And then to kind of more directly answer your question, what are some of the benefits we got on the go-to-market side? There's kind of three things I would call out. One is the Azure Marketplace, which allows our customers to purchase our product directly from Microsoft for easier procurement. There's also the Azure Consumption Credits Program, which rewards customers for consolidating, investing more in the Microsoft ecosystem. And then finally, the Azure Co-Sell Program allows us to work directly with the Microsoft sales team to help our customers more easily discover and evaluate our product. And very specifically, just last week, we were able to participate in Microsoft Digital Transformation Academy, and we met with over 24 account teams to discuss how we could partner with Microsoft to bring our innovation to our mutual customers. So it's been an amazing experience so far.
Right. Okay. And Jeff, just in the very short time we have left, what should a startup in Evan's positions do to get started on Azure?
Well, they should go to startups.microsoft.com and they can get all the information they need about the program, and they should reach out to us via the website to find out more information. We're really looking for companies that are interested in accelerating their business by selling into the enterprise. And we really think that with Co-Sell, which is a program which allows our sellers to retire quota against selling our partner solutions, and with, as we mentioned, the marketplace and other different reseller agreements, we really think we can help accelerate the business growth of startups, which is one of the things I think that startups struggle with.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, thanks, folks, for a great conversation. And for everybody, for more on how Azure can work to fit you and your business, visit azure.microsoft.com. And now it's time for a message from our featured partner, Red Hat.
Hello, everyone. I'm technology and business reporter Shibani Joshi. In today's fast-moving world, there is no doubt that digital transformation is top of mind for all businesses, and unleashing data is a key to success. We are living through an explosion of data. We create around 2.5 quintillion bytes of it every day. Unbelievable, right? All of this information has the power to drive innovation and shape what's next. But to get there, organizations must overcome a myriad of challenges. Today, we'll talk to a range of experts and hear about how HPE is taking the complexity out of data storage so businesses can accelerate their data-driven transformation. And we also have a special interview with HPE's President and CEO, Antonio Neri. But first, let's kick off this event with a short film.
If you are running a business and you are not prioritizing data and data storage and data management, I'm not sure you can call yourself a business leader.
There is no future unless you have some ability to handle and manage data, because data is becoming so important as a competitive weapon.
I hate to sound dramatic, but you either lead the disruption or you become its casualty.
We're creating massive amount of information that is not only incomprehensible, but almost impossible to manage.
We're getting data everywhere now, whether it be from our security cameras, from our cash registers, from stock markets, whether it be from the weather. There's data everywhere. It's increasing exponentially.
We're not interested in getting to like a gazillion bits of data. That's not the point. The point is to have the right data at the right time and actually do something with that data that then helps the business make better decisions.
There's a tremendous amount of complexity around managing data. First thing is we're accumulating data at an extraordinarily high rate. So it's growing continuously, the archives. And that means we're buying data centers, we're using the cloud, we're using any means necessary to find a way to manage this enormous explosion in information.
The right data management gives you the opportunity to reinvent yourselves. Management is everything. Those people who can develop a vision for how you use your information and how you reinvent your industry, they are the leaders of tomorrow.
Without having structured data, there are missed opportunities for businesses, there are missed opportunities for governments, but there's also vulnerabilities. And those vulnerabilities can be extreme.
We read every day about these massive hacks. So that is what terrifies me about the new world we live in, that we have all of this information that can be stolen just like that. That's why having the right infrastructure, the security tools is absolutely critical.
The impact of limited visibility to an organization is basically wasted IT time, higher costs, and greater risks that the business is going to make poorly informed decisions.
If you're not going to take advantage of the assets you have, they're going to go to waste. And if your competitors are doing it, if they are harnessing the value of data and using it in a wise way, they're going to put you out of business.
You don't say data relevant and you aren't able to scale in the ways that your business is changing, you can't predict that, you're going to be left behind.
Start paying attention to all of the information and the data around you. Put it together in some sort of way that it's usable, which means storage of whatever type it is. Modernize, get with the program so you too could win in the 21st century.
Well, we just heard about how there's more data than ever, more dispersed edge to cloud, more threats to deal with, and more demands for it, creating both opportunities and obstacles for businesses today. To drill down on the critical role of data storage and management, we now have Julia Palmer. She's the Research Vice President at Gartner. Julia, it's nice to have you today. I know that you talk to hundreds, if not thousands, of IT leaders in a given year. Tell us what a CIO should focus on when helping their organization manage data and innovation.
Thank you, Shibani. Indeed, the CIO should focus on more than one area. First of all, business. It's no longer good enough to be business aligned. Now it's time to be business embedded. We need to transform ourselves from a provider of infrastructure to provider of services. And as we go on this journey from providing storage infrastructure to providing data services, we need to focus on agility and adaptability of such services. IT professionals need to become data champions and look after all of the concepts and data flow, from data ingest, data processing, data protection, cybersecurity, data management, and integration with public cloud and the edge. So as we go on this journey to evolve ourselves, we also obviously need to focus on technologies, and not just any technologies. According to CIO survey conducted by Gartner, more than 59% of CIOs now prioritizing technologies that support change. Yes, they don't want to focus on technologies that run forever. They want to focus on technologies to support change. And they struggle with a lot of changes this year. Globalization of data, exponential data growth, shortage of storage experts, requirements to provide infrastructure anywhere, complexity of data management, and getting insights on the data they stored. So as they evolve themselves to address those challenges, they need to focus on the talent as well. This is probably the most important thing nowadays. We need to evolve ourselves from provider of storage operations to provider of data operation services. In fact, Gartner predicts that more than 70% of storage operations professionals will evolve themselves beyond managing storage systems. So our goal is now to expand our knowledge and skills and responsibilities to the new stage. CIO must equip IT professionals with skills and tools and redefine their roles from operations of storage to operations of data. At the end, CIOs will be known by the business outcomes they deliver, not by the infrastructure they manage.
Thanks, Julia. Some important insights that every CIO can learn from.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Now, let's focus on how Hewlett-Packard Enterprise is tackling some of the toughest data storage problems. In just a moment, we'll hear some exciting announcements from Tom Black, HPE's General Manager of Storage. But before we bring him in, let's take a look at HPE's vision.
In this age of digital transformation, data is your most precious asset. It holds the power to accelerate innovation, to drive your business forward. But complexity stops you from realizing its true value. That's about to change. Forever. By embracing data, cloud, and AI, we're pushing beyond storage and data management as we know it, to a bold, new vision. Where obstacles are cleared away, where silos are shattered, and where the data experience becomes streamlined across clouds. To simplify everything, for everyone. Your data, your agility, your innovation is about to be unleashed, helping you to accelerate forward faster. Welcome to the future of data-driven transformation. Are you ready?
Well, that was exciting to watch. Tom, I am excited to dig into this more with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Shibani. Very excited to be here as well.
You know, we just heard some bold statements about how HPE is changing storage and data management forever. Tell us how you're going to do that.
Yeah, so we've got a new vision we're calling Unified Data Ops. Very simply put, Unified Data Ops embodies our new true north for this business. And the true north is bringing a cloud operational model to our customers from a data services-centric perspective, wherever their gear is, on-prem, in a colo, etc. The real net benefit at the end of the day of this very bold new offer is we're going to help people accelerate their digital transformation kind of in a very data-driven, highly contextual manner moving forward.
Tom, help us understand how your vision of unified data ops works. What does it look like? How will you bring it to life?
Great. So it's really it's two-part. It's about bringing a new data services platform to our customers, allowing them to reduce complexity, allowing them to run their estate in a more agile manner, in a more cloud-native manner, really transforming our business into a cloud-first, software-defined model.
There's a lot going on, and today you're making some announcements. Tell us about them, how they will bring this vision to life, this new north to life.
The two components that are exciting that we're launching today is what we call the Data Services Cloud Console. This will be really the landing zone for customers to go and visualize their data, to provision and manage their data. And a bevy and host of other value-added services, including our award-winning AI Ops, really powered by InfoSight that we've had for some time now. The second very exciting part of what we're announcing today is a new brand of primary storage products called HPE Alletra. There's a mission-critical high-end version we call the HPE Alletra 9000. And then also more of in the business-critical workload space, the HPE Alletra 6000. So let's take it from a customer-end perspective, right? Typically, installing sophisticated storage equipment was a bit arcane. It was a very complicated process, huge IT projects. With this new approach, you roll the kit into the data center, you rack it up, you plug in network, you plug in power, a couple clicks later, your equipment now shows up in your console. You can manage it from anywhere in the world.
Super easy.
Yeah, super easy. The second thing we've added is, again, storage technologies have been kind of siloed and used and tuned, if you will, very specifically for different workloads. And the customer had to keep all that in their mind. We've added something we've called intent-based provisioning, which is you go into your Data Services Cloud Console, It understands the fleet of equipment you might have in your estate, and you simply express the workload. It's either some basic characteristics or just select one of the templates we provide. From there, we find the right place to place the workload based off of capacity, based off of performance, really taking that kind of that storage Jedi Knight admin experience out of the necessary workflow, just making it simple for people to use.
Simple and sophisticated, it sounds like at the same time.
Yes, we do all the work with our algorithms and our code so the customer doesn't have to.
Absolutely, and that's how they want it. And you mentioned Data Services Cloud Console. We actually have a video here that shows us how it works. Let's take a look.
What if you could transform the way you manage your data? Turning silos and complexity into a seamless experience across clouds? The barriers that slow you down? Gone. Freeing you to accelerate, to innovate, and to shape what's next. Now you can experience it with HPE. Data Services Cloud Console is your one destination to unify data operations from edge to cloud. With a single experience, anywhere, from any device, simplifying everything. Bringing cloud operations to your data infrastructure with automated deployment, effortless provisioning at scale without the guesswork, risk, or wasted time, and with global visibility that makes managing hundreds of systems as simple as managing one. Setting the foundation to unite your data operations on one platform, streamlining access for your innovators, protecting data from edge to cloud, unifying visibility wherever it lives, mobilizing it, maximizing potential, powering a new data experience. Data Services Cloud Console from HPE. Your data, your agility, your innovation. Unleashed at last.
Tom, could you unpack Data Services Cloud Console for me more? Is this just another piece of software to manage infrastructure, or are there more added components?
Oh, absolutely. There's way more to it. My engineers would gasp at the question, to be honest.
No offense.
The great thing we were able to do as a company is we started the journey towards building a SaaS platform many years ago in Aruba. And now we've been able to leverage that core platform technology and bring out the Data Services Cloud Console. So we're talking about a platform that is mature. It's been in the market for a long time, fundamentally as a foundation, millions of devices under management, but one that we are now able to start creating our storage and data-centric applications to run on top of.
Got it.
What's really unique about the console, again, is it abstracts away different storage technologies and lets customers focus on their data and on their applications and how it uses their data. And it, if you will, kind of homogenizes the visibility, the analytics, and the provisioning, if you will, of storage resources, again, from that application and data-centric view. So it's this isn't simply a newfangled and a new place to run management software. This is a fundamental pivot from storage to data and data services.
And that's what a lot of customers are looking for in this environment. And you've touched on the capabilities and talked about cloud operational agility, Tom. Can you give me an example of how the customer experience changes? Because that's ultimately what they care about most.
Yeah, absolutely, Shibani. So in a kind of a classic on-premise or colo sort of model, if you wanted to stand up an application, wanted to stand up a workload, you're going to file a series of requests with IT that ultimately break down into work orders into different functional teams.
Right.
That process could take days, could take weeks, depending on the company and the complexity. One of the things the public cloud got really right is they made it very, very simple for someone who wanted to instantiate an application or workload or storage volume. They made it simple. A handful of clicks and you can get it done. And so what we have done is brought that same operational model for the first time in the industry, to on-prem or co-located equipment for our customers. What does this really mean? This means that the speed and the agility that you formerly could only get in a public cloud model, you can now get and achieve inside your own data center, inside your own facility. So instead of, again, that complex series of workflows, you can allow an end user, a developer, the ability to go in and instantiate a service, instantiate a volume, and understand how that data is being managed through its life cycle. So again, it's a complete flip in terms of simplicity and complexity.
And it's the best of both worlds. You get the ease and the simplicity, but also the security and the sophistication that you require in a private setting.
That's right.
By taking the conventional storage experience to a cloud model, you're also now introducing other considerations like security, which we were just talking about. Won't customers worry about the additional risks of connecting to the cloud?
Yeah, so it's a fair point. Although I have to say, I talk to large customers, small customers all the time.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I talked to somebody who didn't have a cloud agenda of some sort. They're already using the cloud. I mean, military intelligence agencies aside, right?
Yeah.
But specific to this technology stack, we've paid a tremendous amount of attention to security, both our software and where it runs, but more importantly, we actually allow the enterprise to have an enhanced security posture, in that they can keep a very hard perimeter on their firewall, because what the HPE Alletra systems do is they dial out in a highly secure, authenticated, encrypted manner to Data Services Cloud Console. You don't need to bring, say, a support person on site inside your data center. You don't need to let somebody VPN in to troubleshoot something.
Yeah.
Right? You can
a lot
go
more
to
efficient.
A lot more efficient, very safe, very secure, really designed with that whole secure flow of how you deploy and manage things day to day from the outset.
A key theme in the industry these days, obviously, is security. And there's a second part to today's announcement. Earlier, you talked about HPE Alletra. Let's take a look at a video about it.
It starts with just a spark that ignites the data from all corners of your enterprise, blazing a path through complexity and silos, and freeing your data from edge to cloud. Now, with the flip of a switch, the cloud experience goes wherever your data lives, accelerating innovation, driving every application, and fueling digital transformation at unprecedented speeds. No compromises, no disruptions. This is HPE Alletra, AI-driven for invisible infrastructure, built for cloud and optimal agility, available as a service so you can instantly scale. HPE Alletra is here, and it's time to strike. HPE Alletra, powering your data from edge to cloud, only from HPE.
Tom, tell us more about HPE Alletra and how it relates to Data Services Cloud Console.
Sure. Delivering the cloud operational model requires cloud-native infrastructure. Now, cloud-native infrastructure is our systems designed to work in concert with the cloud. It is about really the software on the system that's on-premise, existing and coexisting in a very symbiotic, closed-loop manner with the software that runs on the cloud console. HPE Alletra will be our brand for kind of all things cloud native moving forward. In our storage business, everything really powered by the Data Services Cloud Console. The ability to visualize, provision, and get deep insights on your data from edge to the cloud with that operational experience that people really are yearning for. This makes workloads and app scaling as simple as flipping a switch.
Easy.
Yes, the HPE Alletra 9000 and 6000 are brand new, all NVMe systems that really will allow our customers to run mission critical and business critical applications with the industry's leading availability, including 100% availability guarantee on the 9000 class of systems.
Great.
HPE's Alletra really as a service, if you will, through HPE GreenLake here this month.
Tom, let's bring this back to your customers. What does today's announcement mean from their perspective?
I think so. For IT, the cloud operational model means they can move faster and be more productive. They can get time back to spend more time on strategy and projects versus having to do rote tasks again and again and again.
Yeah.
For a line of business, this new experience really means their data infrastructure can be self-provisioned, like you would see in the public cloud, right? Yeah. So instead of having to go through all the typical IT workflows, the end user can actually go ahead and provision a data service on their own through a role on the console.
Okay.
For data innovators, whether it's DBAs or developers or analysts, they now have the ability to consume infrastructure and ultimately data as code. We deliver even greater value, including seamless data protection and managing business and compliance risk as we kind of bring this operational model into this unified data services first approach to how a customer will experience our technology.
Sounds like a multifaceted solution.
Yes, it is.
Tom, as you well know, the storage industry hasn't changed very much in the last 2 decades or so. How and why is HPE able to bring to market this new innovation when so many others couldn't do this?
Yeah, so if you think about Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, we have a deep, rich DNA in innovation and engineering and technology. And our current CEO, Antonio Neri, is truly a bold innovator, very focused on the customer and the market, and really encourages his team to focus and deliver where there's opportunity. So I'd say we have a culture of risk-taking and innovation, and that's kind of a very important first factor.
Important foundation.
Yeah. The second factor, again, as I sort of mentioned, is that a really deep technology well. We didn't start this project from zero. We have vast amounts of intellectual property, lots of fantastic shipping products. It was about taking what we needed to add that was new on top of what we had, and again, bringing it to market in a very focused way. And I think third is the kind of the most humbling and exciting part of this announcement is the team I work with.
Yeah.
It takes a certain fortitude to do something this big, this different.
Absolutely.
To really do it as fast as we did. There's mornings, and Monday mornings you wake up and you're a little afraid of the week, and there's some Friday nights you go to bed and say, or Saturday nights in many cases, you say, I'm not sure if I won this week or not.
Yeah.
And that belief in we're doing the right thing for the customer, and then just the relentless grit to overcome the obstacles that do show up in something this big it's what it takes to get it to market. Very few teams, very few companies really can bring those three pieces together. But I'm just tremendously humbled by the efforts of our team to pull this off and get us to this great announcement today.
It sounds like this has been very much a passion project for you. Tell me what this means to you personally. Like, why does this make you so excited, other than all of the pieces that had to come together for you?
The greatest joy is watching really talented people do something really difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's something
during a challenging time as well.
And during a very challenging time.
Yeah.
But it's these things you remember for the rest of your career doing. And I'm super excited for my customers because I've done dozens and dozens of briefings now heading up to this launch. And you just see the light go on in their eyes when they realize they're getting that simplified, deeply valuable cloud operational experience to the gear they have on premise. And this is a first. This is a first for them. It lets them bring agility to their organization, lets them help reduce cost. This is going to change, their cost profile, going to change their speed, their agility, their ability to get to their business outcomes without some of the baggage of yesteryear. So all in all, just super excited to bring this to market.
And you're solving a real problem for them.
Yes.
Feels good.
Yes.
How does this new platform fit into HPE's overall strategy? What's the big picture here?
Right, so I'm going to go back and talk about the promise Antonio made to the market when he said, hey, look, we are going to be the edge-to-cloud platform as a service company. And everything in our business will be available as a service by 2022. Mm-hmm. Really, today marks another major milestone in delivering on that promise. Within my own organization, we call it the do-say ratio.
Okay, what is that?
This is a very high do versus what you say.
Right.
We didn't go hint about this for months and months ahead of time. So it's just a big milestone as we move forward on that promise. And of course, this expands our GreenLake brand, right? So now GreenLake can include very sophisticated, highly automated storage services as part of our as-a-service offer.
Congratulations, Tom. It's been a great conversation. Congratulations to you and your team for this innovation and this hard work that I know has been a long time coming. Thanks for your time today.
Hey, thank you, Shibani, very much. It's been fun to be here. It's really fun to have the opportunity to represent the team and the company that had the courage to do this. So much appreciated. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Let's hear more about how today's announcements fit into Hewlett-Packard Enterprise's overall vision and purpose. We're joined now by HPE's President and CEO, Antonio Neri. Antonio, thanks for being with us today. I want to kick things off by asking you, how did today's announcements advance HPE's promise of being the edge-to-cloud platform as a service company?
Well, we are excited today about today's announcement. Just an incredible set of innovation aligned to that vision that you described, which is to become the edge-to-cloud platform as a service company. And today's announcement is all about what I call the new age of insights, which is basically extracting insight from the data in a much more effective and efficient way. So whether it is our new data cloud consoles, where we unify all the operations around data services, or whether it is our new HPE Alletra, which is our new cloud native infrastructure, that we basically unify with the data console all the aspects around data services. It is a unique set of announcements that accelerates really that vision to become that edge-to-cloud platform as a service company, because at the core of this is all about providing business outcomes to customers.
Speaking of customers, how will these new offerings respond to the evolving and increasing needs of customers?
Well, I think they are right at the core of what their needs are, which obviously on one end, they need a very efficient infrastructure that almost runs autonomously, but at the same time, they want to consume IT in a more flexible way. And this is where today's announcement with our HPE GreenLake Cloud Services provide a full end-to-end solution, so they only pay for what they consume. But at the core of this is really accelerating that digital transformation. And this is where customers are now more focused than ever before, because the pandemic changed everything.
How does your news push the edge of digital transformation? Because we see that happening right now.
Well, digital transformation is now a strategic imperative for customers. We live in a digital economy. Data is the new currency, but those who can extract insight from the data faster will be the winners. We have a say in our company, the future belongs to the fast, and that's why one of our key core beliefs is to accelerate what is next. And that's why this announcement is all about delivering on that promise. And I feel Hewlett-Packard Enterprise not only has the best innovation to deliver against those objectives, but the best people. Because in the end, customers want to work with a company that understands the future and can bring the best knowledge to help them navigate the current challenges, but ultimately put those challenges into opportunities so they can deliver against their own objectives.
So let me ask you, Antonio, as the first to market with everything as a service, what does this latest announcement mean to you personally?
Well, it's one of many. I have to say, this is an incredible company which has a clear purpose, which is to advance the way people live and work. We do that by unlocking your full potential, by delivering this engineered set of capabilities. And at the core of this is all about the culture of the company. And to me, this is what it's all about, the character to innovate, to advance, not just the business, but the society. And that's why this announcement is a proof of who we are. It's one of many in the last few months, and honestly, one of many to come in the next few months.
Antonio, so good to see you today. Thanks so much for your insights.
Thank you very much.
Well, turning now to today's announcements and what it all means for HPE and the marketplace. Joining us now are two experts. Matthew Eastwood is the Senior Vice President of Enterprise Infrastructure at IDC, and Mark Peters is a Principal Analyst and Practice Director at ESG. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you, Shibani. Good to be here.
Mark, we heard a lot of announcements today. What are your big picture takeaways?
Probably have three, I think, and I'll do the simple one first. It was refreshing to see something that's not just an incremental announcement. Whatever you think of this is a big announcement. Secondly, it was very good being a bit more specific to see HPE be themselves specific, not just about introducing unified data ops as a bunch of words, but actually defining what you need. What are the elements you need in order to deliver that? And then perhaps most important of all, because everything has to have value, is we know from some research that we've been doing with and for HPE that this is a real problem. By a factor of 5 to 1, end users say, oh my God, this is getting worse, not better. Mm-hmm. Data management needs fixing. More importantly than that, perhaps as well, we know that data management is a route to improving not just technology, but business outcomes as well. So netting all that out, HPE is biting off something big that matters and doing it in an interesting fashion.
Matthew, I saw you nodding your head. What are your takeaways from the big announcement today?
Well, I see the company really building on the vision. So a year and a half ago, Antonio laid out this vision for HPE that was really about transforming the company into an edge to cloud platform as a service company. And an underpinning of this vision was really the importance of providing a new level of flexibility around IT consumption. So today's announcements really build on this vision by continuing the pivot away from being a product-led infrastructure company and towards a cloud service provider. And to me, it's about really rethinking what storage is. So instead of thinking of storage as this static place, we're now thinking of it as a cloud data services as a critical operating model for the IT layer that's really empowering these digital businesses going forward.
Mark, HPE has made a bold statement that it's going to change storage forever. Do you think it can do it?
That's a straight question, so I'll give you a straight answer.
Good.
I don't see why not. What I'm looking at is the DNA, the foundations, if you like, that have been developed and expanded over the last few years. And you start to see this all coming together today. So things like InfoSight from the AI perspective, which has been enhanced and grown obviously considerably. Things like GreenLake from the consumption perspective. Then obviously all the hardware and also some of the other software elements such as Aruba and Aruba Central, which you can see all these things flowing together to what we saw today. So that's why I say yes.
Matthew, as HPE executes, how can it differentiate itself in the marketplace?
Well, and Mark just touched on a few of these, but if you think about this ubiquitous shift that we see in the asset usage model and also the shift increasingly to the edge, it does have a number of challenges for the user. So we see a lot of focus moving into autonomous operations where they become the focus, cloud-based provisioning, the optimization and control, cross-cloud data management, and really about, as Mark was saying, kind of the AI enablement of ops, and even the recognition that new skills are emerging inside of these IT organizations. So we're seeing companies really focus on optimizing clouds and really setting the pace and path for their technology innovation for infrastructure, for software, and for resource abstraction. This is really, at the end of the day, about making these clouds more resilient and setting the terms for how and where infrastructure is consumed and deployed. And I think pretty good advance there through these announcements.
Mark, how do you think customers are going to respond?
I think they'll fall into two camps. The first and obvious camp is those that are just really interested and motivated to find out more. Again, basing that on some research, not just on assertion. That research I mentioned earlier on, 2/3, 67% to be precise, of the respondents said that fixing data management was in their top 5 IT priorities. So with everything else going on right now, you can see how important it is. The other group of customers, which will take a little more persuading, but I think there's reasons to think they'll be interested too. The other group, it's like the people who think they can drive a stick shift, a manual car, better than an automatic.
Right.
And, very few people can do that. Maybe, 0.5% in the world can actually really do it. They just think they can. And it's not just about pushing back on those people. I think there are very strong trends in the industry that make that less of a viable position to hold. So not talking about cars, talking about IT. If you think about it, you've got the sheer speed and growth of the hybrid approach to IT and the apps that go within that. And alongside that, the growth of generalists rather than specialists. So increasingly specialist requirements or operations like data management are going to require specialist tools. So I think both those groups will come together. There'll be a lot of interest.
Matthew, where innovation starts, competitors follow. How do you think competitors are going to respond?
When I think of the competitive landscape, I definitely think of, obviously they're not standing still. And there's a recognition in the marketplace that the edge is critical. And also this notion of hybrid cloud is critical. I think the hybrid cloud notion is starting to become table stakes for most organizations. And I think what we'll see is a lot of focus in the competitive marketplace on developing a platform-based IT ecosystem around edge that targets participation from a number of different components of the industry. So you'll see a focus on OT providers, operational technology providers, on telcos, and even to a certain extent on the cloud service providers themselves. And these ecosystems are really going to be used as a point of differentiation for driving these platform-based models forward. So there'll be a lot of focus on trying to define and establish what the partner ecosystem looks like around edge and around cloud. And I think that's where they'll focus. I think HPE is really, off and running in a pretty important direction here. And I think you'll see a lot of folks try to follow by really focusing on that partner landscape.
Great insight, big picture views from the both of you. Matthew, Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, we heard all about how HPE is transforming data storage and management, enabling businesses to unleash their most valuable resource. If you want to dig deeper, take a look at your screen where you'll find information about how to access Meet the Expert sessions immediately following this broadcast. It has been a pleasure hosting today's program. Thank you all for watching.
Do you wanna make a difference and reinvent your world? 네, 안녕하세요 여러분, 김선호입니다. 샌드박스 같은 곳에서 경쟁하는 기분을 느껴보고 싶으신가요? 그렇다면 글로브 5G 해카톤에서 진행하는 워크샵과 멘토십을 통해 5G 활용 방법을 만들어보고 여러분의 친구, 동료들과 팀을 만들어서 디지털 시대 속 필리핀의 새롭고 흥미로운 가능성을 열어보세요. Follow your dream. Register now.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining our session today. In today's session, we're going to talk about our new strategy and vision for data and how it's going to help you accelerate your transformation. My name is David Wang. I'm Director of Product Marketing at HPE, and joining with me is Simon Watkins, Senior Product Marketing Manager. And together, we're going to take you through the why, the what, and the how behind our new strategy and vision. It's clear that every organization across all industries are looking to accelerate what's next, and they're looking to drive their digital transformation. And this is requiring a fundamental shift in the way that organizations manage their data and infrastructure. And the new imperative today is all about shifting from managing storage to unleashing data. And this is about having the ability to streamline access to data to all of the innovators across your organization to unlock its value. It's about being able to protect your data everywhere against the increased threat landscape. And it's about being able to mobilize your data to accelerate time to value, but also being able to free your data across hybrid cloud. But that's a lot easier said than done, because today managing data and infrastructure is extraordinarily complex because it's built on a fragmented, complex web of hardware, software, and manual processes necessary to manage the lifecycle of data and infrastructure. Just think about all the different tools that you're leveraging to manage the data lifecycle, from test dev to production to analytics and data protection, or all the different tools needed to manage infrastructure across multiple flavors of storage and data infrastructure, from how you deploy it, to provision it, to scale it, and to upgrade it and mobilize it across clouds. Now think about the impact that it has on IT managers. From an IT management standpoint, this complexity you see here is causing IT to spend their time maintaining, tuning, and upgrading their infrastructure, time that could be spent better driving innovation. Think about the impact on data innovators and their desire in life is to be able to get fast access to data so they can build out the next generation of applications or the next generation of insights and analytics, but their inability to do so because of the red tape and processes. Think about data management, and the data managers are trying to protect their data while at the same time trying to streamline access, and the inability to do so because the threat landscape and compliance requirements continue to get harder. So when you think about this complexity that exists today, something has to get done to fix this complexity so organizations can accelerate transformation with data at the heart of their organization. And so for that reason, we've been on this journey to help our customers, on this journey to reimagine data management and infrastructure in a new way that collapses the silos and the complexity to help organizations accelerate their data-driven transformation. And it's a new vision that's defining who we are as a company, but also a new vision for our customers too on how they're going to be able to do more with their data. And that vision is called Unified Data Ops. And Unified Data Ops is all about reimagining the data experience for your organization that collapses the silos at the intersection of data, cloud, and AI. And it's about bringing an architectural blueprint that combines and integrates data-centric policies and automation, cloud-native control and operations, and AI-driven insights and intelligence. Let me explain how it works. Unified Data Ops should be data-centric. It should be taking a holistic approach to how data and infrastructure is managed across their life cycles, from how data is accessed by developers and innovators to how data gets protected wherever it lives, providing visibility into data across its entire life cycle and across wherever that data is stored, and having the ability to mobilize that data. It's about having policies and automation that are driving a new way to even provision volumes of infrastructure. So it's no longer around a storage construct, but it's around the needs and the SLOs of your data and your applications. It's through a data-centric and a holistic approach through Unified Data Ops that you can collapse all those fragments and silos. Now, Unified Data Ops is about being cloud native. And cloud native is not about where data gets stored, but it's more about where data is managed. In our belief, Unified Data Ops is about having an abstraction of data infrastructure workflows away from underlying infrastructure. And this serves three key architectural benefits for customers. This abstraction does one, the ability to eliminate the fragmentation, complexity, and the maintaining of infrastructure and software to manage data, moving that all into the cloud. Second, it's about having an abstraction layer that allows for orchestration of data infrastructure workflows above infrastructure so you can do it wherever data lives from edge to cloud. And third, it's about having an abstraction through the cloud that allows you to deploy and rapidly drive more innovation into the capabilities of your data and infrastructure management through services and software as a service. And that allows you to really adopt that easily and quickly into your organization. Now, automation is not enough to drive true autonomous operations for data and infrastructure. And that's why the third dimension of Unified Data Ops is about AI-driven insights and intelligence. You have to have AI that's watching over your data and infrastructure, that's applying recommendations and making decisions by looking across your entire environment and giving you recommendations that show you how you can easily deploy your applications on the right infrastructure, how it can detect potential security and data protection vulnerabilities in ahead of being impacted by any threats. It's about being able to know how to optimize resource utilization to drive better efficiency, or giving recommendations to improve performance of your applications proactively. It's through the use of AI that really completes the circle of what Unified Data Ops can be for your organization. And so now, shifting from a conceptual conversation about what Unified Data Ops is, I'm excited to introduce my colleague, Simon Watkins, who's going to show you how we're paying off the promise of Unified Data Ops to drive that complexity and the reduction of it across organizations to help that transformation. So without further ado, I want to hand it over to Simon.
Thanks, David. So our vision for Unified Data Ops really comes to life with the Intelligent Data Platform. This is a unique cloud-native architecture that delivers a new data experience that brings cloud operations to wherever data lives and unifies data management. It begins with a suite of cloud data services designed to streamline the access, protection, visibility, and mobility of data. These unified data services automate and orchestrate data workflows from edge to cloud across the lifecycle, from data protection to test dev to analytics. Next, we have cloud infrastructure services to bring the agility of cloud operations to data infrastructure, from deployment to upgrade. These services manage infrastructure by abstracting the control plane from the underlying hardware and moving it to the cloud to simplify management at scale through a single pane of glass and a unified API. Then, combined with cloud infrastructure services, we have cloud native data infrastructure that's purpose-built for cloud operations and consumption via cloud native control, bringing the cloud experience to every workload. This cloud native data infrastructure features a portfolio of workload optimized systems so you can deploy the right system for the right application workload and SLA. And we imbue all of these services and infrastructure with intelligence, with a global intelligence engine, which brings true AI-driven autonomous operations to infrastructure and data management. And finally, everything is delivered as an as-a-service consumption experience. So the Intelligent Data Platform consists of 3 key innovations that together simplify data operations from edge to cloud. Firstly, we're introducing Data Services Cloud Console, a SaaS-based cloud console that delivers a suite of cloud services that enable cloud operations and unified data operations as a service. Data Services Cloud Console brings cloud operational agility to your infrastructure wherever it's located, be that on-prem, at the edge, or in the cloud. It unifies management silos under a single web interface with global visibility and one consistent experience across edge to cloud. And this radically simplifies how you manage infrastructure at scale across the lifecycle, from streamlined device deployment to automatic optimized app deployment across your fleet with intent-based provisioning to cloud-delivered invisible upgrades. Data Services Cloud Console also delivers unified data management, setting the foundation for a suite of integrated, automated, and policy-driven cloud data services, which will enable a simplified experience for your organization to access, protect, search, and mobilize data. The second exciting innovation that we're introducing is HPE Alletra, a portfolio of cloud-native data infrastructure designed to power all your data from edge to cloud. It's managed natively by Data Services Cloud Console for a cloud operating and consumption experience wherever data lives. For the first time, you can get the same agility, the same simplicity, and the same cloud consumption for every single app across its lifecycle. It's absolutely a paradigm shift for data infrastructure across edge to cloud, because with Alletra, you can shift from owning and maintaining data infrastructure to simply accessing and utilizing it on demand and as a service. You can meet any SLA requirement, which means you can get the right performance, the right resiliency, and the right efficiency for any app. And finally, you can get the absolute best out of every cloud to maximize innovation with unified management, consistent data services, and seamless data mobility across clouds. And the third innovation that makes up the Intelligent Data Platform is HPE Insight, which is pivotal to both Data Services Cloud Console and HPE Alletra, as well as our unified data ops vision. Insight is the industry's most advanced AIOps platform. It eliminates headaches and wasted time fighting fires with AI-powered autonomous data operations that optimize performance, availability, and resource management across clouds. So as we've seen, our vision for unified data ops delivered with the Intelligent Data Platform will bring a new and improved data experience across your organization. And this will impact and benefit everyone, from CIOs to IT, to database admins, to developers. Specifically, unified data ops maximizes enterprise agility by leveraging cloud operations everywhere to eliminate the complexity of managing data infrastructure. It empowers data innovators, from developers to analysts to data scientists, to unlock the value of data with streamlined and secure data access. It integrates data management throughout the data lifecycle and across test dev, production, protection, and analytics. It protects data wherever it lives, from edge to cloud, with simple policy-driven automation to meet any SLA. And finally, it ensures the performance and availability for data and apps without disruption. So with that, I'll turn it back to David to wrap it up.
Awesome. Thanks, Simon. So there you have it, guys. A new strategy, a new vision for data and infrastructure, and all coming together to pay the promise of unified data ops that will allow for you to drive your agility, your data, and your innovation, and unleashing it at last across your organization. So thanks so much for joining us again, and talk to you soon.
Do you wanna make a difference and reinvent your world? 네, 안녕하세요. 여러분, 김선호입니다. 샌드박스 같은 곳에서 경쟁하는 기분을 느껴보고 싶으신가요? 그렇다면 글로브 5G 해카톤에서 진행하는 워크숍과 멘토십을 통해 5G 활용 방법을 만들어보고 여러분의 친구, 동료들과 팀을 만들어서 디지털 시대 속 필리핀의 새롭고 흥미로운 가능성을 열어보세요. Follow your dream. Register now.
We're speeding into the fast lane with Globe's 5G technology. It's fast, it's fun, it's wonderful. It's Kim Son-ho approved. With Globe 5G technology, the possibilities are endless. It's about time we inspire the youth to create something meaningful, spark reinventions, and improve the framework of the future. That's what the 5G Hackathon is about. Students, professionals, and startups are welcome to join the event by registering using this link. Once accepted, you may enjoy access to the Globe 5G Hackathon HQ, where the enablement workshops will happen. That's 2 weeks worth of fun workshops and mentorship by industry experts from our tech partners. All these to get you to the top. That doesn't end there. Apply what you've learned from the workshops and pitch your idea on how you can use 5G to improve the way we live. The panel will pick the top 30 semi-finalists to join the pitch competition and enjoy exclusive workshops and consultations with mentors. But if you're truly, madly, deeply at the top of your game, you can be chosen as part of the top 10 finalists who will proceed to the Hackathon Finals. 3 of the best pitches will be hailed as winners. What's in it for you? Well, over 500,000 pesos worth of prizes will be given away, plus a chance to be part of the Venture Builders program of 917's Venture Velocity and work directly with Globe 5G Acceleration Lab. This is powered by Globe and Animal Labs by DLSU. Thanks to 5G, we're about to achieve great heights. Click the link and show us what you've got. Get ready to reinvent your power to create change. Register now.
Why don't you watch me do my thing? Evolve, just to evolve, just to be more, just to be better, just to evolve, just to evolve.
Take it to the next level with Globe's fiber, LTE advanced, and 5G mobile connection. Now you have the power to reinvent your world. Globe.
The new mind-blowing Surfer All 99?
9 gig? All sites?
For all devices?
Shareable with up to 4 people?
Like my fam? Anywhere they are?
The new mind-blowing Surfer All 99.
Dear Mother, Light of the Home.
Dad?
Hey, baby!
Greetings, Professor Rodolfo.
May I be absolved from
Math Club tomorrow.
May Globe Virtual Hangouts kasi.
Go and hang out from wherever you are. Just open the Globe One app, choose an event, and click join.
Watch concerts online!
Woo! Dance together!
We can do quiz nights.
Yo, let's go! If you allow me,
I promise
To make it up to you.
And repay your kindness tenfold. Truly, your favorite child.
I love you, Dad.
Mimi.
Please, babe.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy your fave events with Globe Prepaid Virtual Hangouts. All together now.
Yes!
Getting started with augmented reality applications, fast but good quality development. I am Neil Patrick Del Gallego from De La Salle University. So who am I? So I'm an assistant professor at De La Salle University, College of Computer Studies. I am the lab head of graphics, animation, multimedia, and entertainment. So back then, I was a software engineer or game developer under PlayLab Incorporated for 5 years. So if you want to know more about GameLab, please follow us in this provided QR code for the Facebook page. So my talk is about or based on a publication from 22nd Symposium on Virtual and Augmented Reality held in Brazil. So here's the paper. It's titled A Proposed Learning Content for Teaching Handheld Augmented Reality in a Classroom Setting. So I have provided here a link, so feel free to access that. So background, so if you want to develop augmented reality applications, so it's actually the best time to do it now because it has been increasing in popularity from high-tier conferences as well, such as BRST, SIGGRAPH Asia, ISMART, and ISMART. So there are several applications that you can do. So for example, virtual training or visualization of, for example, floor plan. And you can actually do that on a mobile application. So as compared to virtual reality, augmented reality are cheaper and faster to develop because you can basically deploy it on a mobile device. And you only need a camera and a marker or a physical marker for you to render virtual objects. And there are, of course, several libraries already available that you can use. So this talk basically answers the question, or how to get started in AR. So I'm going to share to you ideas borrowed from my article from the previous slide, which is also answering the question, now how do you actually teach AR in a classroom or lab setting? So here I am showing some of the prototypes from the hands-on activities that I have created from the said course or from the said paper. So it's actually part of a lab course offered in our college. So we call it AR VR Dev, and I have created a courseware that basically contains several prototypes and hands-on activities that the students will reproduce. So I am going to share a high-level overview on how you can actually jumpstart your development on something like this, or related to something like this shown in this slide. So our problem, if you actually just refer to to the internet, so there's several resources available, so it might be really intimidating. And then my other issue here is this is what we are using, or what I recommend that you should also use. So it's Unity, which is a game engine, and Vuforia, which is an AR plugin officially supported by Unity Engine. So this is the easiest. So in my opinion, this is the easiest set of tools that you can use for jumpstarting your AR development. So however, if you refer to, let's say, online courses such as Udemy, so the contents are heavily derived from existing documentations of known API. So now I will share to you on how to actually get started, as referring to our courseware that I have presented in the said paper. So if you want to get started, you should first understand the camera controls. So be familiar with the exposure and the autofocus settings, because that will greatly affect the performance of your AR application. So let's say your camera is not focused on the physical markers. So these are the physical markers. You're going to experience several defects or bugs, such as yung calibration and anchoring of the virtual object. So the application might find it difficult. So next is, once you have it, try playing around with the virtual scene and markers first. So if you have a physical marker, so these are the printed ones. So you place it on a flat surface and then try to place any virtual object that you can, so such as any 3D model, just so for you to test it out, just to test the waters, and of course deploy it on a mobile application. So you can readily do that following official tutorials from Vuforia and Unity Engine. So to give you an example or an idea, so you can one way to do that is to actually get a protein structure from the World Protein Bank, and that structure you can actually convert it into a 3D model such as this. And since it's a 3D model, you can actually import that into a game engine such as Unity. So Unity Engine allows an AR application to be developed using the Vuforia SDK plugin. So here I am showing this protein structure. So when you deploy it on an AR application, so this is what you see. So this is what you see first in the game engine. So when you deploy it, this is what you will see on a mobile device, something like this. So I suggest you also do the same. So try it out with these kinds of activities. So the following is to stress test. So get familiar with the calibration or the anchoring of virtual objects. So just so you know the hardware limitations of your chosen device or your mobile device. So this is a good way to be familiar with the capabilities and limitations of AR. So you can try something like this. So you have a physical marker, then continuously stack cubes, just so you know up until what point will the application detect the environment and for you to place virtual objects. So next. So more details, okay? So how do you get started? So in our paper, for you to actually start developing this, we have presented a framework. And our framework is shown as follows. So this is what we call a proposed flow of learning AR. So we have divided them into the following. So optional, foundation, and advanced. So for the optional step, these are intended for developers who are not yet familiar with game development. So the friendliest game engine out there is Unity Engine. And then you also need C# because Unity Engine uses C#. So provided that you have that knowledge, or let's say you have a game development background, you can jumpstart your development by first understanding camera controls and marker-based AR. So we're going to show some samples of hands-on activities related to the following topics provided. So the first track, so it's actually divided into 3 tracks. So the first track is aims to explore different techniques in understanding the physical environment in order to display virtual objects properly. So the second track involves best practices in user interaction, such as handling screen taps for placing virtual objects and using other finger gestures. So lastly, you can actually explore additional features. So these are experimental or exploratory features. So in fact, you can actually perform some physics simulation in an AR setting and photorealism as well. So in fact, it's actually shown here in this video. So just to go back. So to go back, so if we play this again, this one, so this part. So to watch this, so as you notice on this part, I can actually move the application. So if I tilt the paper, gravity takes over. So similarly here, physics simulation is in place. Okay. So we're going to discuss some of the learning activities. So there are 5. So so understanding physical environment, model interaction, triggering action through image target detection, AR physics, photorealism. Just to give you ideas on what you can do or features that you can actually maximize. So here's one example. So here's the marker. So the goal is to basically stack multiple cubes on top of one another to demonstrate the extended tracking feature. So the extended tracking feature is a feature in Vuforia wherein if the image marker is obscured from view or out of view, it should still render the virtual objects. Okay. So this is a combination of physics. So physics and 3D model interaction. So aside from having markers such as papers, you can also have physical objects or 3D models. So for example, I have this figurine, and then there's a feature in Vuforia wherein you can calibrate or track this figurine and also detect the boundaries and dimensions. So you can actually track the physical dimensions. And once you have that, as you notice, I can place a virtual object and perform a particle system effect wherein it respects the boundaries of the 3D model, of the physical 3D model. Okay, so next. So here's another interesting take through the use of image markers. So I have here one marker that renders this virtual scene, and I have a second marker placed. So the second marker is basically a detector or a point wherein these agents will perform a pathfinding algorithm towards this marker. So if I move it somewhere else, it will follow The agents will now perform a pathfinding approach towards this marker. Okay. So next. So these came from student output. So there's a topic in the course, in the AR/VR dev course, wherein they can apply concepts of photorealism. So photorealism involves capturing the environment, capturing the reflections of the environment and its lighting, and putting and simulating it in the virtual object or in the virtual scene. So as you notice here in the aquarium example, the reflections from the laptop and the table are also shown in the virtual object. Okay. And then on this second video, as you see, the plates and the virtual teacup and fork, there's some shadows to it and reflections. So you can explore doing that through the use of reflection probes available in Unity Engine. Here's another example. This is from the Henry C. building in the library, and it simulates a mirror. So this is the scene. So this is the physical space. And as you notice here, it's actually showing the reflection in the virtual object. So please take note that this is non-real time. So I repeat, it's non-real time. It must be performed as a pre-processing step. So it needs to capture the environment. So there's a way to do that. So I'm going to share the PowerPoint slides later about it. So more information about how you can actually do this. So here's also another high quality application. So it simulates reflections and refractions. So the virtual object here this time is actually the glass. So it came from this paper. So I'm going to show some of the student outputs from the AR/VR dev to give you some ideas on the more medium-sized applications that was developed. So let's just fast track the video. So this is yung gameplay. So this is the gameplay mechanic. So you're just basically going to shoot meteors. So move the camera around, shoot meteors. And that's it. So very simple, but actually fun and entertaining. So next one. So this is also an interesting take on an AR application. So basically you have a virtual rod. So here, a virtual fishing rod. You're catching fishes and putting it on a bowl. So interesting. So this is how it looks like on a mobile device. And this is how it will look like in detail. So when you actually play it. So this is what the user sees. So there's a virtual rod. So you're going to catch the following objects, place it on a bowl. So here I am showing the thumbnails of outstanding projects from the SEND course. And here's the summarized checklist from the learning flow that we have shown in the previous slides. So students tend to use mostly marker-based AR, and to some extent, and mostly the user interactions about virtual buttons. So how do you interact with the models? And then lastly, to some extent, they're actually using some physics as well in augmented reality. So as additional note, so it's actually, Ubisoft Philippines participated by judging various projects in the exhibit. So it received favorable response. So now, if you want to learn more about the courseware, so we have actually a set of PowerPoint that I would recommend that you should try and read instead of referring to tutorials. So we actually promote this for learning. So a courseware was developed as part of this course. This contains detailed hands-on activities. So I have shown you some of the possible applications and features you can utilize. So how to actually implement them are discussed here in detail. So it's like a walkthrough. So to conclude, we aim to provide the course materials named AR/VR Dev courseware as a reference for developing AR applications. So if you want to have a copy of this, so feel free to email me and simply state your intention, and I will give you the link afterwards. So after I review your intentions, and of course, please acknowledge our work. So, and then we will give you the link. So thank you very much. So if you want to get the courseware, feel free to contact me on this email. So neil.delgallego@dlsu.edu.ph. So for more information about our projects or even AR, please visit our Facebook page. So thank you very much, and I'll be waiting for your Q&A.